Hi all, here Professor Ravi Kumar from School of Mechanical Engineering, Shasta DMTB University. I welcome you all to the next lecture today in the Introduction to Aerospace Engineering. Today we are going to see some tutorial problems on basic concept of aerodynamics. In the previous lecture, we have covered the high lift devices. That was the last topic of the basics of aerodynamics. Today, we'll see some of the numerical problems based on the concepts that we have gone through in the basic fundamental of aerodynamics. So, I request everyone to have a numeric calculator with you to verify the answers for the problems that we are going to discuss today. And prior to that, I would request to the newcomers, those who have come today to view my lecture, please subscribe and like my channel. So let's come to the discussion today. Today I will start from the prescriptions of the flow or that we say descriptions of fluid flow, where we have discussed about two approaches, Lagrangian and Eulerian approaches. Right, Lagrangian approach talks about the individual fluid particle behavior, right, when we wanting to know the behavior of certain domain. That domain will have a number of particles, and we'll consider certain set of particles and we'll move along the particles and we'll measure the velocity acceleration, and finally we'll say this is the desired effect which is have creating in the given fluid domain. As their individual particle need to be focused, so it requires a number of equations to come up to find out the overall behavior of the fluid flow. So it is very tedious process. To counter that problem, the second approach came into the picture, that is Eulerian approach. In Eulerian approach, what basically we do, we fix a certain station in the fluid domain, and there will be seating, and certain quantity of flow will be entering and leaving the fluid domain. We are simply measuring the fluid velocity and acceleration, right, at a given instant. So by a Eulerian approach, right, we can exactly say what is the actual flow behavior, right, and in a very simple way, and it requires less number of equations, right, to come up to the conclusion that certain flow is going to create this kind of effects. So as from these two approach, basically we came to know that a fluid flow will be described by its velocity vector. The moment we know the velocity vector, we can find out the remaining parameters, like what is the force it is going to exert over a given object which is moving through it, and what are the different aerodynamic forces, right, that are going to be influenced because of the this velocity flow over a particular object. So velocity vector is the necessary thing. So once we came to know this is a flow, the necessary condition for a flow to be existed, like if somebody asking you whether given flow is possible or not, the requirement, mandatory requirement, it should satisfy the continuity equation. So continuity equation is must, right, before we can come to the conclusion that the given flow is possible or not. So we start from continuity equation. From there we'll say okay, this flow is possible. Once we have decided flow is possible, then we go for remaining calculations, right. So we will start today our numerical problems also, from that concept only, from velocity vector. Then we'll see whether it is possible or not. Then we'll come to the rotation, circulation, those all terms that we have already covered in previous lectures, and then we'll come to the wing aerodynamics, right. So some numerical problems based on the wing aerodynamics will also be discussed today. So I will take the first numerical problem, right, based on the velocity vector. So please note it down, I will be dictating here. If velocity vector for a given flow domain is given by the equation I am writing here, so this is the velocity vector which is given as x square yi plus y square z minus 2x yz plus yz square k. This is the velocity vector which is given for the first numerical problem. Prove that it is a possible case of steady incompressible flow. This is the first segment of the problem. Also, make calculations for the velocity components at the point. One point is given 2, 1, 3. So at this point we need to find out the velocity components. So I am again repeating the problem, right? The velocity vector for a given flow domain is given by this equation. All right, prove that it is a possible case of steady incompressible flow. Full stop. Also make calculations for velocity components at the point 213. 213 is x, y, z are given. Those coordinates are given, and at this coordinate, right, we need to find out the velocity components. All right, that's the one thing. So how to approach that? So if we look at this equation, nowhere time parameter is there, right? Time is not given, so that means it is definitely a steady flow, right? Steady flow, and it's a three-dimensional flow because we are having x, y, z. These all things are here. So this is basically a steady three-dimensional flow, but we don't know what is incompressible or compressible. So look at here, density term is also not present, so it is an incompressible flow. So we now know it is an incompressible steady three-dimensional flow, but we don't know whether it is possible or not. So we need to apply the continuity equation, that is divergence of velocity vector, right? It should be equal to 0, right? So the continuity equation, divergence of velocity vector, not curl, dot product of velocity vector should be 0 for incompressible flow. So we need to prove that, right? Divergence of velocity vector is 0. So if we look at this equation, right? This equation can be comparable like we can say velocity vector is nothing but ui, vj and wk. So from here we can say u is equal to x square y, v is equal to y square z, and w is equal to minus 2xyz plus yz square. So this is basically given already from there. You can taken out. So u x square y and v y square z and w, this complete thing is w. So these are the velocity components along the x, y and z directions, right? Now we'll take the divergence of it. When you are going for divergence of that, if you expand this equation, right, this equation can be written as dou y dou x I plus dou y z plus dou y dou z k, right, and into dot product of, I will just write ui, vj and wk. Right, if you just put the dot product of this, so I dot I will become 1, j dot j also will become 1, k dot k is also becoming 1, but I dot k is 0, j dot I is also 0, j dot k is also 0, only I dot I when same things will be equal to 1. So if you multiply that, this will be simply, you will get one equation, dou ui dou x plus dou v y dou y plus dou w y dou z. So this equation we are getting, and we need to prove that this component, whatever partial differential equations of u, v, w, this should come equal to 0. That is our requirement. So now we simply differentiate, right, the velocity components. So velocity components are here, right? So I will take one by one here. So dou u y dou x, we need to find out. So u is here, differentiate with respect to x, I will get 2xy, and dou vy dou y, right? If you differentiate this equation with respect to y, you will get 2 times of yz, then dou wy dou z, and we need to differentiate this equation with respect to z, I will get minus 2xy plus 2yz. just look at if I add these all, right, from here we can see if we add 2xy plus 2yz and this everything, this is becoming 0 basically. So when we substitute these all things here, we are getting this equal to 0. So that means divergence of velocity vector is 0 basically. So it is going to be 0. That means what? Divergence of velocity vector is 0. So it is a possible case of incompressible, steady, three-dimensional flow, right? So it is a possible case of fluid flow because it is satisfying the continuity equation. It is satisfying the continuity equation. So it is a possible case of fluid flow. So one thing is over, right? So we can say so it is a possible case of fluid flow. Clear? This is over. So one part is over. Now we'll go for the second part, which is talking about the velocity, right, vectors at this point. So I'm erasing this. So if I erase this, I will come to here. So velocity vectors, velocity components are here, right, which are given u, v and w. These are given, right? So just I will substitute the value of x, y, z, x2 and y1 and z3. Just substitute here, right? So if you substitute here, u will become x, that is 2 square into y1, that is 4 units, right? And v, this y square is 1 and z is 3, that has become 3 units, right? And w is minus 2xyz, so 2 3 6 6 12, right? Here 6 12 plus 9, right? So this is becoming minus 21 units. So these are the answer. So velocity component at point P can be calculated in this way. So just substitute the value. So I substitute the value of x here. This is becoming 4 and put y and z value here. This is becoming 3 and then minus times of x, y, z, everything is, this is 12 and this has become 9, so 21 units. So like that you can solve this problem. This was the first problem, very straightforward problem, easily you can find it out. So let's go for second problem. I am erasing this. These are the answers, 21 units. Let's go for the second numerical problem. So second numerical problem is saying that if velocity vector for a given flow domain is given by this equation. This is the equation 10 y plus 3 I minus 10x z. This is the velocity vector which is given. Alright. Determine the circulation around the contour given by, a contour is given by x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, x is equal to 1, y is equal to 1. So these are the coordinates given for the contour. So it is asking about, this is the velocity vector which is given, right? And we need to find out the circulation around this contour. How to solve this? So look at this equation. Basically this equation is a two-dimensional case of fluid flow where u and v are given, right, basically. So we can simply say this complete thing is small u and this including minus is v. So from here we can say given u is equal to 10y plus 3 and v is equal to minus 10x. These two things basically we know. Now we need to draw this contour, what is this contour is, and then we have to go for circulation. So this contour we look at, so x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. So if I draw over x and y, this is x and this is y. First point I am getting here which is 0 0, right? When x is becoming 1, y is becoming 1, and similarly if you look at y is also becoming 1, right? So I can get here 1 point and then 1 and 1 which I will get here. So this is becoming this kind of square kind of structure I am getting. So 0 1, then this is 1 0, this is becoming 1 1 and this is becoming 0 1. So I got this one. and we need to find out the circulation around this. So circulation is given by this symbol tau. Tau is saying me the circulation. So I can say this is u, right? Along x is u, along y it is v. So u and v also I have written. So what is the circulation definition says? Circulation definition says that it is the line integral of tangential component of velocity taken around any closed curve. This is a closed curve basically, right? So starting from here and going like this, and we need to find out the circulation for it. So how to do that? So circulation is nothing but cyclic integration of u dx plus v dy. This is v dy for two-dimensional flow, and given velocity vector is the velocity vector for a two-dimensional flow. Clear not? It is a for two-dimensional flow. Now, how to write that? One thing. First is this. So I can say this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. If I say, so I can say like cyclic integration along AB. Along AB only u is there, u dx. Along BC, here only vertical component is there, v dy. Along CD, again u will be there, right? U into dx, and along dA, here v dy. So sign convention we will consider as per the limit when we are putting the limit, and as per that sign convention will be considered. Just we have seen here AB, BC, CD and DA. Now at this point, what is the value of y? Y is 0, only x is equal to 1, right? X is equal to 1. So look at the u equation. U is here, right? U is here, y is 0. That means u is equal to only 3, which I am getting. So I can say here, and limit for x is equal to 0 to 1. So 0 to 1, and u value is only 3 because y is 0 here, right? So 3 dx. This is the first term which I can write. Second term for BC, which is here. Here only v component will be there, vertical component velocity, which is minus 10 times of x. And what is the x value here? X value is equal to 1. So if you substitute x is equal to 1, I can get velocity is equal to minus 10. So integration minus 10 dy. What is the limit for y along this? Starting from 0 and going to 1. 0 to 1 plus 2 I have written. Now I have to write here. Along this only u is there. So u equation is 10y plus 3. What is the y at this line? Y is equal to 1. Clear not? If you substitute y is equal to 1, this will become 13. Right. So 13 dx. What is the limit for x? Is going from 1. X is 1 here. 1 to 0. Plus now along this dA. dA again velocity is v, right? V is minus 10 times of x. What is the x here? X is 0. Yes or no? X is 0 here. What is x here? X is 0. So when put the x is equal to 0, velocity will become 0. So 0 dy, limit again by 1 to 0. 1 to 0. Clear? Now just you have to integrate these four things, right? 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you will get the answer. So integrate one by one. So this became 3x. So 3 into x, x 0 to 1. This is become 10y 0 to 1. This is become again 13x 1 to 0. This is becoming 0. This is 0. There is no meaning of it. So if we solve this, this will give just simply 3, right? This is becoming 10, and this is becoming basically minus 13, minus 13. So if you add this, this become 23 and plus 3. So I can get minus 12, right? So I can write here Hmm. So this becoming minus 13 and this becoming minus 10. So if you add these everything, so this became 23, right? 23, and out of 23, 3 is going, so minus 20. So circulation is coming minus 20 units. This is the answer for this problem. So like that you can solve. Like this you can solve. So again I am repeating this problem, so it will be better understanding for you. So this is the velocity vector which is given 10y plus 3 minus 10x, right? So I can write u is equal to this and v is equal to minus 10x. So then I have written circulation is equal to u dx b dy, right? So I can write a b c d. How to get a b c d, which is something like this, it is coming, right? So this is a, this is b, this is c, this is d, and here I know this is 0 0, this is 1 0, this is 1 1, this is becoming 0 1, correct? 0 1. So and we are taking this kind of thing is positive, right? Circulation like this. Along this is u, along this is v, right? So v is here and u is here. So this is the thing. So we can write along AB we have written u dx because it is going like this. Along BC v dy, this is going like this. Along this u dx, along this v dy. Then we have to specify the limits. So look, along this u is 10 by plus 3, but here y is how much? 0. So I get only 3, right? 3 are written here. Dx, what is the limit for x? 0 to 1 I have written here. Again you look at the v is minus 10x. So v is going along this vertical line where x is equal to 1 basically. Look at here, x is equal to 1. So substitute x is equal to 1, I can get minus 10 dy. What is the limit? Limit for y, it is going from 0 to 1. So I have written 0 to 1. Then I am going along c to d direction, right? Where velocity component is small u, which requires y. What is the y value here? That is 1. If you substitute 1 here, I get 13. Dx limit is going from x is going from 1 to 0 plus along this is a v, right? Basically v. So v is minus 10x, right? What is the x value over here? If you look at this point, x is equal to 0. So if you put x is equal to 0, I get 0 dy. Now you just integrate this. After integrating, I get here 3, here I got 3, right? Here minus 10 dy. So this is becoming minus 10. Only I will get 1, right? This will be minus 10, and this last one, this is becoming minus 13. So if you add this, everything is 23. Out of 23, 3 you have taken out. I got circulation as minus 20 units. So like that you can solve. This is the second numerical problem. Let's go for the next problem. So next problem says that determine whether the flow is rotational or irrotational. For the velocity components, some velocity components are given and you need to find out whether flow is rotational or irrotational. So what is the velocity components are given for third? This is a y z and v is equal to a z x and w is equal to a x y. These are the velocity components. We need to find out whether the given flow is irrotational or rotational, right? So how to find it out? Either you can find out y rotational components individually, or you can write curl of velocity vector is equal to 0. Any one is possible, right? So I will go with the first case, right? That is rotational components. So wx, wy, wz, I will find out this. If any one of, if all these are 0, I will say a rotational flow. If I am getting value of any one of the component, then I will have a definite value of rotation, right? That I can say that flow is rotational. Clear or not? So let's we write the formula. So wx we can write half, this is 1 by 2, here y, here z, here w, and minus sign, and here v. So this we can calculate, and this became half, and here x, and here z, here becoming w, and here becoming u. This is another formula, and half here becoming x and here becoming y, in between minus v and dou u. So these three velocity components we need to find it out, right? Just look at this. So I will write here just simply half. W component is here ax y, and we have to differentiate this with respect to y. I will get a into x, right? I will write ax minus. Now look at velocity component v, which is azx, and we have to differentiate this with respect to z. I get ax. So look at this. This I am getting directly 0. Clear? Next one. Now w component need to be differentiated with respect to x. I get ay minus u component with respect to z. I get ay. This is also becoming 0. Let's try for the third one. So half velocity component v with respect to x, v is here. With respect to x, I get az minus u component with respect to y, I get again az. This is also equal to 0. What we came to know from here? So wx is equal to wy is equal to wz is equal to 0. So flow is an irrotational flow. That's all. Over. So like that you can find it out. That's the one way. Or curl of velocity vector, or curl of velocity vector, if you apply, if that is becoming equal to 0, you can say this is a rotational flow. If it's not equal to 0, then rotational flow. So this is the third problem, basic fundamental problems on the fluid flow. So I'm going to next problem right now from the wing sections. All right, that is I have done force calculations. All right, from that. So what is the time now? It's 28. Still we are having time. So let's take the problem. This is slightly lengthy problem, and we have derived the expression for this as well. So I am dictating again. Note it down. Consider two comparable aircraft in level flight. They are flying like this, horizontal flight. Consider two comparable aircraft in level flight and are flying with true air speed of 160 km per hour under standard air conditions. Full stop. The aircraft are identical with weight, wing areas of 10 kilonewton and 45 square meter respectively. Full stop. Wing spans of the aircraft are 14 meter and 20 meter respectively. So wing span is different. For one it is 14 meter, for another it is 20 meter respectively. Determine the difference in geometrical angles of attack. We need to find out the difference between the geometrical angles of attack for the two aircraft. So let's take what all things are given. Two aircrafts are given, both are comparable, right? So for both, W1 is equal to W2 is given, wing area S1 and S2 both are given. So how much it is this? This is 10 kilonewton, right? And this is 45 meter square. This is basically given data. Given. This is the problem number 4. And another, both are flying at true airspeed. V true is given 160 kilometer per hour, right? And wing span are different. B1 is given as 14 meter and B2, these are the wing span I am writing, 20 meter respectively, and we need to find out alpha 1 minus alpha 2. This we need to calculate. So look at the data. So data is here. Weights are given, S1, S2, B true is given, B1 and B2 are given. These are wing spans, and alpha 1 minus alpha 2 need to be calculated. So now we'll go very basic fundamental approach. That is, it is said like they are flying horizontally. So aircraft is flying like very nearly horizontal flight, So this is the case, is flying like this. So in this case, lift will be exactly equal to weight and thrust will be equal to drag. So lift is equal to weight and thrust is equal to drag. This is the condition for horizontal flight, and it is flying in standard air conditions. For that properties we already know from international standard atmospheric table, or for air we know the properties. So let's start from this concept, this approach. Lift is equal to weight is equal to half rho v true square s into CL. We need to find out the coefficient of lift first, and coefficient of lift will be same for both, because wing areas weight both are same, right? And surface area means everything is same, and true airspeed is also same. So from here we can write CL is equal to 2 times of weight divided by density v true square into s. So you can write 2 times of 10,000, right? Kilonewton is becoming 10,000 divided by density 1.2256 into v true, you change into meter per second, put the value here, right? Whole square into wing surface area is 45. So if you put it, you will get the CL value, which is coming around 0.184. So this is the CL value for both CL1 and CL2, both are the same. Clear? Up to here there should not be any doubt. Now as wingspan is different, right? So we can go for aspect ratios. Aspect ratio, right? So we can get aspect ratio 1, that is nothing but b1 square divided by wingspan, right? B square by s. So this is 14 square divided by 45 is the one answer. Another aspect ratio 2, this is b2 square divided by s. So b2 is 20 square divided by 45. Just use the calculator and put the value. I will give you direct value. So aspect ratio 1 is coming around 4.355 and aspect ratio 2 is coming 8.89. So I got two aspect ratios, right, for two different aircrafts. This is given. Now how to start these things you calculated. Now we'll go to the next step. All right, we know CL is equal to A into alpha, right? This is basically we are assuming symmetrical airfoil, all right? And we are dealing with the wing. So for wing we know the equation, that is A. So CL, so we can say from here alpha is equal to CL divided by A. Can we say CL divided by A? One thing. So if I say alpha 1, then CL1 by A1, and alpha 2 is equal to CL2 divided by A2. Can I say? Yes. So alpha 1 minus alpha 2 can be written as CL1 divided by A1 and CL2 divided by A2. But we know CL is same, right, for both. This is here. CL1 is equal to CL2 is equal to CL, which is given, right? So CL is common, so I can say CL is common, so I can say 1 by A1 minus 1 by A2. Clear? Can I write like this? We have also derived an expression for the relationship of A with A naught, right? A with A naught. So I will write here. So CL is CL bracket. I can say this is 1 by A naught plus 1 by pi E aspect ratio 1 term, minus 1 by A naught plus 1 upon pi E aspect ratio 2, another term. So 1 by A is equal to 1 by A naught plus 1 by pi AR. That relationship we already derived in, I think so, previous lecture. So that can be kept here. So if you subtract this and this term will be cancelled out, I will get pi E, that is common. So I can write CL divided by pi into E, and this inside will become 1 by aspect ratio 1 minus 1 by aspect ratio 2. Clear? I can write in this way. Yes or no? So now substitute the value. CN is 0.184 approximately, divided by pi into E 0.85. Always consider Oswald efficiency factor 0.85. Alright, we substitute here, and then in bracket 1 by aspect ratio 1. Aspect ratio 1 is 4.355, right, minus 1 by aspect ratio 2 is 8.89. Just solve this, you will get alpha 1 minus alpha 2 difference. So I need a calculator for this because I do not have answer. So I will take the calculator now. So here's my calculator. So if I solve this, right, if I solve this, just substitute the value. So I will say 1 divided by 4.355 minus 1 divided by 8.89 into 0.184 divided by pi into 0.85. So this I got around 8.0711 and 10 to power minus 3 radian, right? If I'm putting E is equal to 0.85, basically nothing is mentioned whether it is a straight wing, right, or it is a tapered wing. So I would suggest at this point either you can put E is equal to 0.85, or even if you are putting E is equal to 1, that will also make your problem easy. So I will do that modification. I have to make one assumption, right? So assumption is nothing but already we have written aspect ratio is equal to b square divided by s. This is applicable only for rectangular wing. Rectangular wing, right? And for rectangular wing, basically Oswald efficiency factor is equal to 1. There is no meaning of it, right? E is equal to 1. And for rectangular wing, E is equal to 1. So if you put 1, there is no meaning of E now, right? So this you can remove. This you can remove basically. So if you are going to remove this, so whatever value that you are getting, if I multiply that with 0.85, I am getting this value around 6.86 10 to the power minus 3 radian, right? This is alpha 1 minus alpha 2. So if you convert that into degree, what you need to do? You need to multiply by 180 divided by pi. So if you do so, it is coming around 0.393 degrees. So this is the difference between the geometrical angle of attack. Difference in geometrical angle of attack, which is coming around 0.393 degree. Where Oswald efficiency factor, basically E we have taken as 1, because why? Because we have taken wing platform area, means profile, as rectangular wing, and for rectangular wing it is 1. For other type of profile it will be less than 1, right? So like that you can solve. So I don't think so there will be any doubt in this. Very simple step, right? Like that you can solve. So I think for today this much is enough, right? If you want to explore more numerical problems, right, go through the reference book, or you can say standard textbook, John D Anderson Introduction to Flight. There are around 2 or 3 more problems are given right on this concept. Just have a look. If you get stuck anywhere, feel free to contact me, right? And in the given numerical problem which we have solved today, if you are having any doubt anywhere in any step, feel free to write it in the comment section, or you can text to me on my WhatsApp number already I shared with you, right? See you all in the next class with a new topic. So as second unit is over for introduction to aerospace engineering, we will be entering into the third unit when we are meeting in the next class. All right. So third unit basic concept will be starting like different kind of wing and fuselage configuration. So we will be looking at the manufacturing and their geometry of fuselage and wing in detail, and the next next chapter, right, that I am going to opening in the next class. So thanks for your patience for the today's class, right? See you all in next class. Have a nice day. Good day.